All right, Recon Athlete, episode 122. Chris Sanchez, Paul Rodriguez. Shout out to Zach Lucetto. Happy belated birthday to Mr. Paul Rodriguez.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
How was it?
It was great. Super American on Election Day. And
did you work?
Yeah, I did work. I'm working this whole week. We have a federal holiday next Wednesday, so I'm going to take off the last 2 days of that week just to kind of, decompress. I'm probably going to run a few errands, see my folks in San Antonio.
Oh, okay.
My grandparents in San Antonio.
Okay.
Over the weekend. And, probably get my little R&R then, just not this week.
Yeah. I know you said you've been doing a lot of overtime too.
Yeah, we're doing that this week also.
Yeah.
We got to make sure that, everybody who needs help can get the help depending on their situation, and making sure the people of Texas, have a little something to eat. Basically.
Yeah. Thank you for that from all everybody that you help out, you and your organization there. And, we're still in the middle of a pandemic. There's still a lot of people that need that extra help. We've been going through a lot. Is that me or you?
That is me. Mine.
Oh, okay. All right. No worries. I was making sure it wasn't me.
I didn't learn the first time, obviously.
I got a shout out to everybody that's let's see. It's going to be on our watch party. Wes is on here. Hey, Steven Angiano is back. We'll talk about the Longhorns here in a little bit, Steven. He said Herman messed up the plan.
I got something for you, Steven. Just wait a second. We'll get to it.
Every Wednesday I like to, especially these days, I like to ask Paul Rodriguez right off the bat, how about them Cowboys?
They fucking suck. That's how they But they're just Wes, you know it. Wes, I know you hear me. I know you vibing with what I'm talking about right now.
Yeah.
They just stink. They don't even stink, Chris. They stank.
Well, okay, I'm going to say this, and I've been trying to, be a little optimistic about it as a Cowboys fan.
Cautiously optimistic?
Not cautiously optimistic. I think I'm just optimistic, like looking for something to, hang a hat on. I thought their effort against the Eagles was a lot better than it was against the Redskins the week before.
I agree.
Like 1,000 times better. Especially defensively. I think it was 4 turnovers. Didn't do much with them.
Not at all.
Didn't do anything with them. Maybe some field goals or something like that. Easily could have won that football game with any kind of quarterback play. But I mean,
anybody who had the 7th round pick,
a rookie quarterback that, he didn't get an offseason, didn't get any type of any preseason, no reps. He played exactly like I expected him to. He was afraid to step up in the pocket. He kept trying to roll out to outrun defenders. That it's like, bro. I realize that these guys are, probably, 260 pounds, 270 pounds, but they're still faster than you are.
Most definitely. And they have an angle on you as well.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, man, you got to remember, man, you're back there, Ben DiNucci, to try to get the ball out of your hands as fast as you can. Right. And I don't think that he didn't do that.
Didn't get the memo.
Enough. Nah, he didn't. But I did, like I said, I did like the effort from them. I the week before that Redskins game, that was embarrassing.
A lot of think the energy also kind of fell out when Dalton went out. I think that's when a lot of it also kind of was depleted. But there was no fire.
But even when he was in there,
right? That's what I'm saying. There wasn't any fire, and I think a lot of it has to do in this past game with Philadelphia as far as energy. I think getting rid of those free agents they brought in, they got rid of them. Mm-hmm. And I think also Zach Martin coming back in, I think really solidified the interior of the offensive line. Biotic is, I think, a really good center. He'll probably be the center moving forward. And I think Martin having that all-pro back, to me, totally changed the interior running game for the Cowboys. But I liked how some of the pressure was trying to be taken off of DiNucci by leaving Zeke in the Wildcat. I appreciated that from the coaching staff.
Yeah.
Just because, to me, you don't have that potential for a fumble during the exchange because we don't know how many reps they got together in that week of practice with DiNucci and Zeke on, getting that handoff. I mean, DiNucci may be a little bit of a speedy quarterback, but I don't think he's ready to read pro defenses for his own read, and he definitely was having a really difficult time getting rid of the ball effectively, reading some of those screen passes that were really simple to get done.
Yeah, and on the defensive side of the ball, and I thought the cuts that were made during the week. I'll get your take on it. I thought those cuts being made during the week might have lit a fire on the defensive side of the ball. For some of those players over there. What do you think?
I think
just seeing like, hey, we could lose our job.
No, the big guys who are under contract, Jalen Smith and DeMarcus Lawrence. I think DeMarcus Lawrence finally played, a complete game from his rush-in position. I think Aldon Smith got a little bit hurt, and I think that put a damper on his side of the ball to rush. But Gregory came in and did a decent job for having not played for 8 games.
That's true.
I think also Jalen Smith he is not meant to be in that 3-4 or that 4-3-4 defense that he's playing that linebacker position. He's a solid middle linebacker in a 4-3 defense, not a 3-4. And so I think that's why he's always out of position, because he's guessing. And he's guessing wrong all the time. And so I think the frustration leads to the lack of effort. And there were times where, he gets caught in the wash, and I'm like, dude, what are you reading? Like, what's going on? You can't follow your keys with offensive linemen. And so I think he's just thinking too much out there. Trayvon Diggs had a great game on this past Sunday.
Yeah, 2 picks, a couple of pass breakups, almost a pick 6 as well.
Right.
There was one play where he kind of baited Carson into a throw that Carson shouldn't have made, and he was just maybe one step away from getting a pick 6 there. Trayvon, huge game for him. Like I said, I was encouraged by the defense.
That's the best game they played. That's the best year.
Game. Yeah.
The whole year.
Yeah. And I was looking for silver linings. Looking for silver linings. I was in, and plus, the Eagles are awful too.
Oh yeah.
So I have to remember that the Eagles are really bad. Carson Wentz is, he's a bad quarterback, man. I didn't realize
extremely overrated
how bad he was or how bad he is. And I don't really watch the Eagles a whole lot, except for when they play the Cowboys, because
sure,
not an Eagles fan. But Carson Wentz, Nick Foles, back when they were having that whole debate, I was like, I was like, yeah, Carson Wentz. I wasn't mad. I wasn't criticizing the Eagles, for making that decision. But it seems now that Nick Foles might be a little bit better than Carson Wentz.
When he's
it's kind of like a coin flip, right?
When he's playing well, I think he's probably better than Carson Wentz, but his inconsistency is, I think, his biggest downfall. And I think that's really what probably the coaching staff saw in Philly was like, yeah, he'll get you a game, maybe he'll get you 2 games. Fortunate for them, that was the NFC Championship and the Super Bowl. But once he gets out, and we saw that this past week, I think, with the game that they played, and he just can't really make the big plays. I kind of see him like Tony Romo. It's like when he needs to make that big play, he's going to throw a pick, or he's not going to get the big completion to score a touchdown to win the game late, especially against a team like New Orleans.
Yeah. And we have to, kind of remember this, as well. Like the Eagles, they just like the Cowboys. They had devastated offensive line as well when it comes from injuries too. So it's not like Carson Wentz and that team has a full battery to play with. So, but I'm watching the Eagles lose isn't making me sad. That's for sure. Yeah, watching them beat the Cowboys does. And you have Ben DiNucci back there, and shout out to Tom Dunn who says, "How about those sidearm throws from DiNucci?"
I kept yelling at the TV saying, "Bro, you're not Patrick Mahomes, okay? You need to stop throwing the ball that way."
And I saw this one GIF where I think it was a GIF, and they were showing it was DiNucci throwing sidearm, and then Uncle Rico when he makes that sidearm throw.
When he has his helmet on, he does have just a mustache showing. He does look like Uncle Rico.
I was like, oh man, it was like he threw the ball just like Uncle Rico. Zach Lucetto, what's up, brother?
What up?
Did you watch the Cowboys game?
No.
No.
I was trying to. I was late because I was trying to see if we was gonna find out who the president was. I was gonna break the news.
You gonna try to break the news? Well, you can get on Twitter, dude.
It didn't happen yet.
Yeah, that's what a mess, right?
Yeah,
what a mess. I saw a meme that was like, y'all probably saw it too. It was like a kid's coloring of the United States map, and there was
coloring everywhere.
Colors everywhere. It was like what we're seeing right now. It's just like. I was just like, yeah, that's about right. So I mean, if you want to break the news at any time, Zach, you can. But yeah, getting back to the Cowboys. I mean, they got the Steelers this week. We're looking at Garrett Gilbert or Cooper Rush. They're leaning. I'm looking. I'm checking. Checking Twitter, checking news, and it seems like right now they're leaning Garrett Gilbert.
I mean, this is kind of what we were talking about in the
shout out Lake Travis.
Right. I mean, he was the first. Mm-hmm. He was the guy who put Lake Travis on the map his junior year to, just shout out. Anyway, with him, when the last time he played very well in the AAF with the Orlando Apollos, and he was doing pretty well. They were the best team in that league at the time. Granted, that's not the highest level of competition, but he was the best quarterback, and therefore sometimes when you have the best quarterback, you're going to be the best team. So I think also he's been a pro. He's been in the NFL. He understands, I think, what is the expectation for him and for what his responsibility. It's going to be like, look, you're not going to have to win the game. You're just going to not turn the ball over, and you're going to throw the ball as fast as you can so that you don't get sacked because this offensive line is sus. They're suspect.
Oh, yeah. And that was the thing, too. Like, at the beginning of I think the first line that came out, I haven't looked at any lines. I think the first line came out was 8 or 8.5.
Yeah.
Steelers. Yeah. I don't know what it is now, but I thought about it. I was like, 8 points. I was like, man, a smart person might want to jump on that. And that was before the whole like DiNucci thing came out, or the Dalton COVID, because that was the beginning of the week. Like every because even last week Jerry was like, oh, Andy's going to be back for the Steelers game,
right?
And then he gets put on the COVID list.
-14 Steelers.
So if he would have jumped on that 8 points, I mean.
Yeah, that's a lot of points, though.
Yeah, still. Yeah, but I mean.
Well, the reason I say that is because the Giants played well against Tampa Bay, and that came down to the wire. And so I'm not saying Dallas is going to take the Steelers to the wire, but 12.5, the Tampa couldn't cover. And,
backdoor cover.
I mean,
you see a backdoor cover by Garrett Gilbert and the Cowboys.
He's got a Super Bowl ring.
That he does.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, did he play in that Super Bowl?
No, but he's got a and I always tell people that's the best high school football player I've ever seen was Garrett Gilbert.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
In high school?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, and you've seen a lot of high school football. Mm-hmm. So that's saying something. You know, you've been watching for what?
Yeah, a long 13, time in at the state championship games.
12, 13, 14 years now?
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, you've seen how many state championships years, how many years have you been going to that?
I've probably gone like 6 or 7.
Okay. So, I mean, that's a lot.
That's a good amount.
It's a good amount. So, I mean, that's high praise from Zach Lucetto. But
I mean, like this, like him playing, like was one of the whole reasons for the AAF, XFL, and
okay,
like
good point. Yeah,
everyone made a big deal when he got signed, like being the first player signed from one of those alternate leagues, and now he's probably one of the first players to play from one of those alternate leagues too. So I mean that was the point. That was what they wanted from those leagues, is for those guys to use those as an audition to make it to the NFL, kind of like any other farm system, and it's kind of happening.
Yeah, and he's we got the reps, and it's not like he's coming cold. I mean,
way
this
better
year
option than DiNucci.
Way better than Cooper Rush.
Yeah, not way better. Probably he's got more experience than Cooper Rush. I would say.
Do you think no matter who starts, you think we'll see both quarterbacks in this game?
No.
Really?
Mm-mm.
So whoever starts is going to finish?
Yeah.
Really?
Unless there's an injury.
I was going to say barring injury. Yeah. Barring injury.
Yep.
Zach, what do you think?
There's 5 quarterbacks on the roster for Dallas right now?
Well, Dak is on IR.
Dak's on IR.
COVID
IR for Andy.
And then 3?
Yeah.
3 healthy ones?
DiNucci, Cooper Rush, and Garrett Gilbert.
How did DiNucci went from starter to third? They should just they need to put him on the practice squad
because he was that bad, man.
He was bad.
Yeah. So Wes is saying play them all. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Let him play. Hey, just go back and forth. Let him switch out.
They should put that.
Do it Westlake style. Do like Todd Dodge.
What's that? What's that receiver they had that threw a pass a couple games ago? Wilson.
Cedric Wilson.
Yeah. They should just send it and put.
I mean, he
put a position player.
There was a play. There was
a
play on that Sunday night where he was actually going to get rolled out in a reverse where he was going to throw, but the rush got to him so quick he had to just tuck it and try to get what he could upfield. But they were setting him up to throw a pass down the field. So, I mean, anything is going to be on the table. And if Kellen Moore is smart, and I really wish McCarthy would kind of take control of this, is go ahead and get McCarthy, get Kellen Moore, get Cooper Rush, get Garrett Gilbert together and say, look, we're gonna make a remedial playbook. We're gonna go
run the veer.
Four sets, 6 plays maybe in each set, and you got 24 plays.
Right.
And that's it. And it's gonna be play action. We're gonna try to get Zeke. Right now there's a rumor Zeke has a little bit of a hamstring issue going on. So Tony Pollard get the ball. Tony Pollard is very capable. Run the ball. Use Dalton Schultz tight whenever they need to move the chains. And when you have to, throw the ball deep and let Gallup or let CD go. Just throw the ball, let them go get it.
Yeah.
And you should just hire Matthew McConaughey and run the veer.
Oh, shout out. Happy birthday, McConaughey, today.
Just like they did in We Are Marshall.
Today's McConaughey's birthday?
Yeah, November 4th.
Oh, I didn't know that. Happy birthday. All right. I was gonna mention something. So you said Zeke with a hamstring. Hey Zeke, you should have a hamstring injury for this next game. Like, don't even try to come out because he could get hurt.
I told y'all this 2 weeks ago to shut them down, to shut everybody down.
Yeah, but who's gonna play?
Pollard. He can.
Pollard.
He's not. There's not much of a drop off.
Yeah, might as well. Yeah. Be like, tweak. Tomorrow's practice. Tomorrow, Friday's practice.
I know Zeke's looking. I know Zeke's looking has his incentive contract, and he's like, "How many touchdowns do I have so far?" Okay,
yeah.
Who are we playing?
Yeah.
Okay, I could probably get 2 here, 1 here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and have a little. I'm just a little tight in my hamstring this week.
Yeah,
a little tight. You don't want none of that. You don't want that defense.
Yeah,
you don't want none of it.
It's gonna be. Is it gonna be bad? Is it gonna be that bad?
They made Lamar Jackson MVP of last year throw 4 picks.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's gonna be. So, I mean, what do you think about that 14 points then? I mean, do you still think that's a lot?
Yeah,
still
but
8 points a lot?
Also, I'll listen to Colin Cowherd. He said I like to stay away from these games because
you never know.
The Steelers can just say, okay, Ben, you play a quarter.
But see, here's the other thing too,
but they can just rest people.
The Steelers didn't start playing football until the second half of the third quarter. Ben didn't. I was telling John and I were talking. Shout out King Galunga.
Yeah,
we were talking. I was like, dude, in the second quarter, I was like, Ben needs to start throwing the ball and pushing it deep because right now, Baltimore's defense does not respect what he's doing. And then the second half of the third quarter is really when they started getting Mapletron, get him going. They started getting the running game a little bit more, and they started moving. And then Ebron comes out of nowhere and starts putting things in the end zone. So it was good to see them get the tight end involved also.
Yeah. And shout out to Kalunga. Get well soon, brother. Let's play both quarterbacks. I like what Wes is saying.
But they just got to lose. Like
they're going to lose.
That was going to be the next question. That's going to be the next question. Go ahead, Zach.
It behooves them more to lose.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Let's lose, and your quarterback next year is Justin Fields.
I think
that's what I keep hearing too. I keep seeing that. I see. I think Schefter put out something yesterday. Adam Schefter of ESPN put something out there about them getting the 4th pick. I
don't want Trevor Lawrence.
Well, you're not gonna. I don't think you're gonna get him.
Either way, just putting it out there, just as a statement. Like whoever gets him, you wouldn't want that guy. He's gonna be a good player. He's gonna be solid.
But you don't want Trevor Lawrence?
I think Justin Fields is going to be. I think he's gonna be like Mahomes.
Okay, so we don't want to win, and I mean honestly, come on, Cowboys fans, let's.
Everybody's frustrated enough.
Let's be honest.
Like, okay, we can get a high draft pick, maybe a top 2 quarterback. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
It's smart.
And it plays into what Jerry wants to do. I mean, he wants to take on that rookie quarterback contract rather than paying Dak. You know, so
$400 million.
You know, you can trade. I'm sure somebody will take Dak
Happily.
You know, you get something for him. You know, offensive lineman. You know, defense.
Draft picks.
You know, if you can get Justin Fields. You know, that's been the thing. So, yeah, you don't, like Zach said, they don't want to win. I mean, you don't want to win. It's sad, man. It's sad. As a Cowboys fan, you know, it's sad for me to say that, but yeah,
it'd be like that though, like because you get to a point where all you're doing is saving your pride, but hurting your future.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. So I mean, we're tanking now.
I think they've been taken ever since Dak broke his leg in half.
Yeah, we're falling for Fields. Is that what we're doing?
However you want to coin it. However you want to coin it.
It's definitely. I think it's definitely Justin Fields and not the North Dakota State guy.
100%.
I think.
I thought you liked the 100.
I think
whatever that guy's name is. I forgot his name.
Trey Lance.
Trey Lance. Thank you. Yeah. I think he's a solid quarterback too. But every time Carson Wentz plays a game, I'm like, damn, I just don't think that he's probably going to be just like Carson Wentz.
Well, yeah, and I think
it that way.
And I think it should worry you a little bit as a Cowboys fan though, is as many times as the Cowboys have been burned by Carson Wentz.
Yep.
You don't want Jerry Jones to be like late to the party and be like, okay, well I'll take someone from the same school and have the same like FBS turned Super Bowl quarterback and take a chance with Trey Lance because I do 100% think that it's Justin Fields.
Okay. And Wes says not tanking, just practicing for next year. I like that.
However you want to coin it.
I like that, Wes. Just practicing for 2021.
Yeah, I mean, just play hella young guys. Like,
I mean, there's only
there's young guys, and if they do good, trade them.
You only got two more months left. You know, so
like 7 weeks.
Yeah,
no, 6 weeks.
Right.
This is week 9.
So I mean, there's not a whole lot to play for. I mean, we don't want to make the playoffs. Not going to.
They're not going to.
You know, like, yeah, just get a better draft pick. You know, I mean, I think that kind of takes the pressure off of. It takes the pressure off of everybody, off of McCarthy, off of Jones. Even though I'd rather not have the pressure come off of Jerry Jones, but it takes the pressure off. You know, it's like, hey,
and I think it helps.
We're gonna just get a better draft pick.
And I think it helps the fan base too going into next year. What do you have to look forward to if not a brand new quarterback? You know what I'm saying? Like, why? I mean, the Cowboys are always going to have like that viewership, but like, why renew your season tickets? Why make your like lifelong dream and fly to Texas and see a Cowboy game if not because they're unveiling a brand new quarterback that they got high in the draft? You know. Mm-hmm. Because you have to do something to like change the tide a little bit of popular opinion.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Paul.
I like it. I mean, I don't know if Jerry's going to be able to take the losing week in and week out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I think maybe this may be his humble pie because when Jerry gets frustrated, especially like in media,
mm-hmm.
he's always cool. He always has a real smooth, calm demeanor, but when he gets agitated, I know he's probably feeling it from the fans or through business, and he just doesn't like to lose, but he's just gonna have to suck it up for the rest of the year because they need to fall, they need to land a pick in the top 5, really top 4.
I mean, yeah. So you got the next 4 games. You got Steelers, Vikings,
loss,
Redskins,
loss,
Ravens,
loss, definitely,
and then the last 4 games. Bengals,
loss,
49ers,
also taking,
Eagles, Giants. So I mean,
maybe they win the Redskins game. But
I mean, or the football team.
Seriously, the football team. Yes.
Sorry, y'all. Yeah.
Maybe they lose the Washington game. Win probably. I'm sorry.
If I were to, pick a couple of games for them to win, I'd like them to beat the football team and the Eagles. You know, we don't want to get swept by the Eagles. So
that Eagles game is in Dallas?
Yeah. It's the second to last game.
But see, here's the question. Like, then we have to really start analyzing who's going to end up 4-12 or less than 4-12.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you got to make sure your like loss differential is better, so you can have a higher pick.
Well, then like playing devil's advocate. Chris, can you pull up that screen that you just left?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those same games,
Mm-hmm.
the Redskins, the football team, they don't have a quarterback either. The Bengals, they can't block for their quarterback, just like the Cowboys can. The 49ers are also, they don't want to win either.
Yeah, they got your Jimmy's
because
hurt.
they're trading away pieces. They're benching their starter.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Eagles, that's
just horrible.
That's like 3 or 4 wins that you could just fall into
on accident.
Yeah,
I give you the Washington game
because the other team doesn't want to win either.
Cincinnati, because Cincinnati just really played very well against the Titans, and
they
had questionable issues on the line,
and they're trying to,
Jimmy Burrow's gonna will them.
Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow's gonna will them to win.
They're trying to ascend. They're
pull this ticket.
Yeah. So. Yeah, they could. I mean, yeah, they could accidentally win some games.
I would be shocked if that happened.
Yeah,
everybody would love it, but like Dallas fans would be like, "We're back." No, you're not.
No, and
and then the narrative at the end of the year is, do you pay Garrett Gilbert?
Right. Do we drop Andy and we sign Garrett Gilbert for a long term backup?
No. Yeah, and like tanking the season, or however you want to say it, practicing for next year, like I said, and then it takes the pressure off of Jerry, because then in the Dak thing, because then everybody's gonna be like, oh well, you can get Justin Fields. So
that's crazy. Like,
see you later, Dak.
If the Cowboys were better than they are now, like that's such a fortuitous end of your schedule.
Yeah,
like that's such a winnable end of your schedule for if you were like a good team.
Yeah, if Dak was still around, I mean that's not a very hard schedule at the end of the year.
If they were 5-2 right now.
Yeah. That's a really good schedule for them. But now they're gonna have to purposely lose instead of accidentally win.
You have to out-lose the 49ers.
Yeah, don't accidentally win any games, Cowboys.
But their quarterbacks are really pretty much off the street. So
yeah,
I mean we're not saying these guys are top flight quarterbacks. The other thing too is, I was just thinking about this. With that offensive line, does Gilbert and Rush finish the season?
I mean, Andy's going to come back. I mean, he's only on COVID. Like he'll be back.
God, think of those quarterbacks.
I just think that they're just going to fall. I just think they're going to keep getting knocked out. I think they're just going to be injury plagued with the porous offensive line.
Could be.
Think of those quarterback matchups. Freaking Garrett Gilbert versus Nick Mullins.
Oh yeah.
You got Cooper Rush versus Kyle Allen.
Oh man, that'd be sweet.
Are any of those in prime time the rest of the season?
The Ravens game.
On Monday or Sunday?
The Ravens game is on the December 3rd. I'll have to look to see.
I was curious if any of those poor quarterback.
That's a Thursday game.
That's probably.
That's a Thursday game.
That's not Thanksgiving.
No, it's December. It's a week after. The 49ers game is the 20th. And that's on the let's see. Sorry, my computer's. That's a Sunday night.
So that's a Mullins, whoever.
Mullins, yeah.
Who's
the backup in Philadelphia?
Hurts.
Oh yeah, you'll have freaking Andy Dalton versus Jalen Hurts by that time.
Yeah, he could.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
What if it's DiNucci and Hurts, rookie against rookie?
DiNucci.
For whatever reason.
DiNucci's probably never gonna play again.
Dude, he looked horrible.
You don't bring in 2 quarterbacks that are have just as much experience as him.
I'm chalking it up to injuries. That's kind of the only hypothetical that could put DiNucci back in there.
And they'll have 9 quarterbacks on the roster at the end of the year.
4 on IR.
Yeah,
it's gonna look like your aunt's fantasy team. Just keep picking up quarterbacks.
Shout out to BJ, who's he's using words like false narrative.
BJ, you got any trades out there? You got anybody do business with you?
He doesn't.
Somebody did a trade in the league this week. Right?
He doesn't think BJ doesn't think that the Cowboys will tank because they
because analytics.
Yeah.
Okay.
And 80% of the players are playing for the next contract, and they will want to perform and win every game.
Cool.
I mean, yeah, they will want to win.
Yeah.
I just don't know as with Andy or
They'll collectively win the game.
yeah. Right.
Someone traded Tom Brady for Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews.
Yeah, that was me.
Oh, that was you. Oh, nice.
You traded away Tom Brady?
No, I traded for Tom Brady.
Really?
Yeah, but I have Gronk on my tight end as well.
Okay. All right. Wes, no fantasy talk.
See? Thank God.
Shout out to Emo Flipper.
Flipper! He's got a new nickname now.
What is it?
Fake Fan Flipper, because he won't put no money down.
Oh, okay. Recon Athlete episode 122. Chris Sanchez, Paul Rodriguez, Zach Luceto. Shout out to Snoop Daniel over chilling in his room, I guess. Everybody on the watch party, thanks for joining us. Wes did ask a question about Sam Ehlinger, and I'll ask y'all after we talk about the Longhorns. Zach, did you watch any highlights?
I
know you didn't watch the game. I know you didn't watch the game.
I got Lindsay to read me the box score, and I watched a little more than I did last week's game.
Okay.
I watched the replay of the kick return.
Oh, okay.
So you're just slowly kind of dosing yourself back in.
He's in the back.
As long as they win, he's like slowly, incrementally. Let me get a small dose here, micro dosing his way back to Longhorn football.
I can't just whatever the opposite of cold turkey is. I can't do that. So I'm trying to take it slow.
You wing yourself off.
Yeah. So
not wing, but wean.
Wean, yeah.
Wean. For those of y'all who don't know, Zach is protesting / boycotting the Texas Longhorns for the rest of the year, I believe. But he did watch a little bit.
It was a great return.
Great return.
Jameson is actually probably one of the better kick returners that Texas has had in a long time.
Yeah, I'll have to say that. Shout out to Steven, because he did say at the beginning of the podcast that that Herman was ruining the plans.
Okay.
And I guess the plan is for the Longhorns to lose so we get rid of Tom Herman. Is that what the plan was? Is that what the plan is?
So there was an article that kind of came on my feed, on my Google feed, and I don't know if this is true, but I'm just kind of taking it with a grain of salt. Apparently, it was reported by TexasTakes.com that Del Conte has asked boosters for money to buy out Herman, and allegedly has a verbal commitment for Urban to be the next head coach if they lose one more game. If the Horns lose one more game, end of season, Herman's out, Urban's in by word of mouth, by verbal.
And I think what happens to Texas all the time with these coaches, the same thing that happened when they tried to get Tom Herman, is at the same time you have Michigan going the wrong way too, and then that turns into an arms race for Urban Meyer between Texas and Michigan.
Yeah, but I don't know if he'd want to go back to the Big Ten.
But I mean, it's I think at this point it's all about like coming into a storied program, and that's
yeah. Either one is big. It would make it.
Yeah, but I mean, do you want to live in Ann Arbor or Austin?
Yeah.
Come on, it's pretty simple.
A real easy choice there.
I mean, just come back, do your whole, comeback story, and then be able to retire after that.
And I think you could argue almost that Michigan has better pieces than Texas does.
Could you though?
Because you don't see anything negative about Michigan recruiting.
Harbaugh does do a really great job of recruiting. I mean, the guy's willing to sit and climb in trees for his recruits.
Because I don't think you have the
so I don't really know.
I don't think you have the connotation that Texas football brings right now. That it's like I think they're just actually. I don't think they're just as bad. I think Michigan is way better. But I think they're both struggling in as far as like culture and program and stuff like that. But I think a kid would way rather go to Michigan than Texas. Isn't there a running back from here committed to Michigan? The Dunlap. Tavie Dunlap. Is that his name?
Tavier Dunlap from Del Valley.
Yeah,
I have to look into it.
I think he's
I
committed
can't
to
think
Michigan.
off the top of my head.
I think he's committed to Michigan.
That sounds. I know he has an offer from there.
Snoop will let us know. I'm sure. So.
Because not only are you buying out Tom Herman, you're in a bidding war against Michigan, and it turns into the you have to.
I just think the funds would be way more easily available to have Urban Meyer come to Texas. I just think it'd be an easier blank check to write.
And you would automatically, as a program, you just get a lot more, just commitments easily.
He'd flip these 22 kids who have already verbally committed or decommitted from Texas and have opened their recruiting, who currently show Ohio State in their commitment.
Yeah.
What's up?
Zach
Dunlap is committed to Michigan.
Yeah. So I mean, so there you go. Michigan over Texas.
Yeah.
I don't know if he got an offer from Texas, but I mean the fact that the Michigan's coming all the way down here to you got to get some recruits. That's pretty big. So ruining the plan is what Texas did against Oklahoma State. Now let's talk a little bit about the game. Paul, did you watch the game?
I did.
Thoughts about the game itself against Oklahoma State?
I think Texas played well because they were awake at 2:30. And I'll get into more of that when we talk about their next matchup
Against West Virginia.
And so, Texas doesn't fare well when they play early, but when they play 2:30 games or evening games, it's a little bit better for them to, I think, be active. For some reason, they were inspired.
Not as hungover.
I don't know. I just think they were inspired to kind of win this game against Oklahoma State. Did they do one for the Gipper? Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I just want Texas to be consistent. I really think we all thought they had this in them. We thought they were a solid team overall. But when you don't execute and you don't put it all together and you make stupid mistakes by turning the ball over, you kind of you're putting yourself behind, the 8 ball, so to speak. And so
And
if you can be consistent, you're going to win games.
So what they were able to do, which was opposite of the Cowboys, is when they got their turnovers, they were turning them into points.
Right.
And so that's what basically kept the Longhorns in this game, were those Oklahoma State turnovers.
Another factor that I really want to kind of harp on is that they started Bijan Robinson. I think having him from last week starting, again, I'm going to go back to it. I don't like him in pass pro, but with him starting the game and running the ball, I think he still has a lot of that, like, that dog in him from high school where he's like, I expect to win games. I don't go into the game to lose. And so he has that kind of winner's mentality, and he's willing Texas along in the running game, and then, complement Sam Ehlinger on the same time. Him moving the ball down the field, extending plays with his legs, I think is crucial. But, I think Sam needs to be more spot on with the ball, because right now you play a defense like West Virginia, who's playing a better defense in the Big 12 than most. It's going to get dicey, and I just hope he's real careful with the football this coming Saturday.
And I think you're gonna get more Bijan Robinson too, because Keontae Ingram is gonna miss this week. Mm-hmm. So I'd be like eager to see in the box score, like how, like if that institutes a shift in like majority carries to Robinson, and then what changes, what gets switched up when Keontae Ingram is back in the mix, because he is without a doubt the best pass protector among all the running backs. I mean, unless you had like Daniel Young back in there, but like what is because like the need for that, like what does that do to Robinson's like playing time once he finally comes back?
I would like to have them both on the field personally.
And then looking at and you know what, that was something they said about I keep wanting to say Yelich, but that's not his name. Yurcich. Is that like before Texas he did a lot of 2-back packages, which I don't think we've seen that much from him.
And the other thing too is
and you're at a place where you have that.
Well, if you need to with Robinson.
Yeah. He can get out. Yeah, he can go out to the slot and maybe even like in the wing spot, right? You put him out there. Let's just do like the old school 2-back sets,
Well, I mean, that's what they used to do at Ohio State all the time when they had all those backs. Is one to the left, one to the right.
Yeah, split the back, Let's just do the old school 49ers,
I love that zone read where we zone read off of one side, and then we got another guy coming up the middle. Ohio State made it famous with Urban Meyer, where you pitch it inside, and he runs a dive and scores a touchdown on the goal line. I love that play, and I haven't seen Texas execute it well this year, if run it at all.
Dude, old school Raider style, Marcus Allen, Bo Jackson.
But just reading the box score. Reading the box score though is like
reading the box score.
You talk about
reading no damn box score. Watching them YouTube highlights.
You talk about like consistency from Texas. It's like their consistency. They're consistent. They're consistently doing like enough, but not great. Like I look like for real. Looking at the box score, I'm like, oh my god, how did they win this game? Like Wallace almost had 200 yards receiving. I think Sanders almost had like 400 yards passing.
Yeah.
And I mean, if it wasn't for those turnovers, which I think listening to the horn this week is all those turnovers were like way in plus territory, and they didn't move the ball after the turnovers. They were just gifted 3 points basically to like as a baseline from those turnovers because of where they got it. And like there's gonna get to a point whether that's against a better defense like West Virginia, whether that's I don't know whether that's in a bowl game where like you're gonna have to show something on offense. Teams are not going to just give you the ball anymore.
And it's not going to be Sam
give you the win.
Yeah, it ain't going to happen like that.
And I think I saw them lose the tight end a little bit more. This last game. It was Brewer that I saw.
It was.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they don't use that kid from Temple. Like he has like 3 catches for like 90 yards. And then, like, those are his only time he's on the field. The Wiley kid.
It's if Sam can find him, and that's kind of where.
But he doesn't play.
Yeah, well. They
put him in, they throw it to him, like it's like a play designed for him, and then they take him out. And like he's the future at the position. He's a big body kid, a local kid, and I just don't understand why. I mean, if you have it, then I mean, obviously, Brewer is the guy, but he's not. He's not.
He's more pass blocking.
Yeah, he's not giving you a lot of production consistently. Yeah. And I mean, if some of your better performances has been when the tight end is involved, then why not put the guy that gets involved? I don't know. I think some of the personnel things just ever since my days of watching them, it's what like drove me away. It's just the person like it just seems like there's no rhyme or reason.
And that's and I think that's a great point. And because even BJ says on the watch party, he says as long as they don't start running that slip screen,
Yeah.
I mean, that's just
I don't like that play.
I don't think anybody does.
Nobody does.
I think that, and that's just been one of the staples of the Texas Longhorn offense that you've seen over the years, and it's just a throwaway play. It's like, okay, you're going to run that play. Why don't you just hand the ball off for 2 yards? Because that's about how much you're going to get with that slip screen.
Unless they're playing 9 yards off the ball, like there's no point to run that play.
Yeah. So I mean, change things up, and maybe they're going to try to do that. I would like to see that they try to get the tight end involved.
Don't be running screens when the receiver you have out there is a freaking walk on,
right?
Blocking,
Yeah, right.
But I mean, and
give the ball to Bijan, let him run it.
Take some time off the clock. Yeah, but it's like, and that's coaching. And if you listen to the kid from Denton Ryan that just decommitted from Texas, Billy Bowman, in his they asked him why he decommitted, and I think he committed to Oklahoma or something like that, and he was like, it was kind of harsh, but he was like, I want to go somewhere where the coaches know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. And I mean, that's like a local kid saying, like, basically pointing at what's wrong with Texas and saying that's why I'm not coming here, and it's better somewhere else.
And Cesar is on here. Caesar, how do you say his name? Caesar.
Yeah, Caesar.
He says they're
Cesario Ernesto.
Yeah. For real?
Yeah.
Dang, I'm asking. They are consistently non-consistent.
Yeah.
Those Longhorns. That's what Zach's dad says. Shout out Zach's dad. So yeah, hand the ball off. Get Brewer involved. Don't do the slip screen.
Yeah, please don't.
Please don't run that slip screen. Maybe run a pro style offense. Maybe Sam will be better in a pro style offense. Maybe
it's too late for him to do that.
Like maybe, and it's too late. Yeah, you're right.
For him, it is.
And that was the question that Wes asked. Earlier in the program was if we thought that Sam would be, good enough to be in the NFL and consistently perform at the NFL level. I mean, at this point, I don't think so.
You know who Sam? You know who Sam reminds me of in terms of his career is Jake Fromm. Where like as a freshman, you're like, oh, this kid's gonna be good. As a sophomore, you're like, oh, he's kind of getting better. Then as a junior, you're like, I feel like he's not getting any better. And then as a senior, you're like, oh, this is gonna be the year. A couple games in, you're like, oh, he's getting better. And then once you get to later in the season, you're like, okay, never mind.
We got let down.
And it's just he just didn't get developed.
Yeah.
Pretty consistent with that with the Texas Longhorns developing your players. Who said that? Urban Meyer said that. Okay.
You know who else said that is Garrett Wilson when they asked him why he didn't pick Texas. He said I've seen guys come to Texas with who I thought had a lot of talent and not get developed. So I'm gonna go to Ohio State.
All right, so Longhorns sitting at, was it 4-2?
Yes.
Got 4 games left. West Virginia 11 a.m. kick. Why did you want to say something about that 11 a.m. kick?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we're gonna make our picks, are we doing that, or are we gonna do it?
No. I was just
okay.
Just because you said I've got something to say about that.
Yeah, when we make our picks, I'll talk about it.
Okay. Then Kansas on the 21st.
It's an easy like letdown game to come up a high, beating Oklahoma State and then lose to West Virginia at home. I think it's a very Texas thing for them to do, and I could see it happening.
That is a very Texas thing for them to do. After Kansas on the 22nd or on the 21st, they got Iowa State on the 28th, and then end the season at Kansas State on December 5th. They could easily go 2-2.
Dude, yeah, I just looking at those games like.
I like your reaction.
Face?
I like your reaction. When I said 1-3, he's like, so go ahead, Zach.
Like looking at those games, that you're like, you have a hard time saying like, oh, they're for sure gonna win this one. I mean, even that Iowa State game, like Iowa State is not good, dude.
But the Kansas game, I mean, come on.
Kansas game, that's a dub.
Yeah. I mean, especially because what's his name opted out, the running back Puka. I think he opted out for Kansas. So I mean, that was like their whole offense. But I mean, I'm sure all those years ago when Charlie Strong was the coach, they talked about that game the same way we're talking about it now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a very Texas thing to do to lose to West Virginia and then just ride that wave for the rest of the season.
That's a fan right there. That's a fan's take right there.
Emo's 2-2 over under 2-2 for the rest of the season. I would go with the push on that. I'd say they'd go 2-2. I think they could beat. I think they beat Kansas and Iowa State.
Okay.
They could easily lose to West Virginia.
I don't think you're winning both of those, Iowa State and Kansas State. I think you pick one.
Yeah.
If you beat Iowa State, you're probably gonna lose to Kansas State. But if you lose to Iowa State, you probably beat Kansas State.
But do they win this Saturday, Paul Rodriguez?
Hell no, they don't win. 11 o'clock games. Really? 11 o'clock games. TCU lost. Oklahoma lost. Texas Tech should have been a loss. Although those games were 11 o'clock kicks, and they're playing the best defense out of all 4 of those games, or all 4 of those teams, with West Virginia included. Texas has given up over 400 yards of offense, and West Virginia is making over 490 yards of offense per game. The only thing that Texas does well is they're going to be able to score points with them. And does it go into another overtime? Maybe. But that just means, are they going to be able to be close enough? Are they going to have enough possessions to keep up? Mm-hmm. If Texas starts hot like they did against Oklahoma State, they got a shot. Mm-hmm. But 11 o'clock kicks, I just don't think they come out. Texas doesn't start playing football. If we look at all the 11 o'clock games, they don't start playing football until after 1 o'clock. Mm-hmm. We saw their games. Texas Tech, overtime. TCU, overtime. Oklahoma, overtime. All 11 o'clock kicks. 1 and 2 in those games.
Zach, when you look at the box score on Saturday afternoon, are they going to have a W?
And I just don't have faith in the offense. I think I have more faith in the defense than the offense, and if you're playing a good defense, then I don't see how Texas manages to score points. Unless they get gifted into field position again, then I don't see how they can organically come up with offense. Like I'm talking like receive a kickoff for a touchback, start on the 25 and march down the field to score. I don't see how they do it against a good defense.
I think if they get the ground game going, I think they can win this game. But that's just going to be whether or not the coaches are going to be making those calls.
And they got to be positive in the turnover differential. They have to. Well, they have to get extra possessions.
And I think what Texas needs to like learn is like if your defense is like coming up with turnovers, it's not like, oh, I can't wait to get them back out there to get another turnover. You're maybe you give them some rest.
Yeah.
And take some time off the clock, run the ball, and when they're out there every 15 minutes, maybe they'll come up with a turnover like that. It's not like offense where you're like, oh, I can't wait for them to get back out there and score again. You don't say, I can't wait for my defense to get back out there.
And that kind of coincides with Chris's point about running the ball, because you really want to just drop that son of a gun back down in low gear and drive incrementally down the field, clicking off that clock. That also keeps West Virginia off the field, gives your defense a break, and you build this momentum and consistency and confidence in the offense to go score touchdowns.
And don't rely on Sam, dude.
No, he
Don't rely
cannot
on
be
Sam.
the offense.
Yeah.
He's a facilitator. That's what quarterbacks do. He'll make a play if he needs to in 3rd and long, maybe 3rd and medium, but you can't depend on him in 3rd and long every play. Every drive.
Yeah. Okay. And then I guess the last question is, will Snoop Daniel be at the game on Saturday? Snoop, are you going to be there?
I bet he will be. I bet he'll say that he won't be there all week, and then he'll get the tickets, and then he'll try to give them to me, and I'll say, nah, I can't, and then he'll go.
Probably how it works.
Oh, okay. All right. I don't know. I know he's been working on a lot of videos. Because there's still high school football going on. We got week 11 coming up.
Oh, smooth.
Right. KBVO game of the week. 25-6A Vandergrift versus Westwood.
Oh,
Zach,
you're gonna see me on TV.
we're gonna see you.
They ain't text me, and
What are you gonna-
I'll like wave to 'em.
What are you gonna
Wave.
What are you gonna wear so we can?
Man, I don't have any.
They all wear black.
I'm about to get
But you gotta wear something you'll stand out.
Well, I'm about to get one of the guys that's on the radio broadcast with me, Scott Schaffner, that like very generously is getting some new equipment for Vandergrift for the sideline. So I'm gonna have more of like more of an active role in the broadcast, because right now the stuff that they give me doesn't work. I don't even bring it anymore. Mm-hmm. So right now I just record the interviews on my phone at halftime and post game and just email it back to the studio and they play it. And that's me being on the sideline is just to hang out pretty much. So I'm gonna have more of an active role. I'm gonna have a hopefully equipment that works better where I'm in range to contribute to the broadcast throughout the game. So I think once I get that, I'm gonna like step my game up.
So you're coming in like creased slacks.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna the way I'm seeing it now. I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna just end up wearing jeans probably, but I want to get like some colored pants and like a nice shirt, like a nice button up.
Do you have a Vandergrift like polo or?
I do, but I try not, especially I try not to wear it that much.
Okay.
Because I like to be normally when we have like the ability to move around on the sideline, when not COVID years, I like to be on both sidelines. And I feel kind of weird wearing a Vandergrift stuff, like being right next to the coach on the other side, you know.
Yeah.
I can see that get you running out.
So we'll look for the wave from Zach.
Do you wear a cap, or are you gonna wear that cap, or do you have your hair flowing? How's it go?
No, I normally wear a hat.
Okay. So he'll be on the sidelines of the Vandergrift versus Westwood game Thursday night or tomorrow night. Vandergrift win this pretty easily, or do you expect the game on this one, Zach?
I think it's closer than I think people think. I mean, Vandergrift just doesn't really blow people out like that. That's just not really their.
I mean, they kind of have this year,
how they're wired to do. I mean, they're not like 56 in people, you know.
They're 49
they're
and 42 in people.
Yeah, but I think that's a difference though. Like I think there's a difference in that. Like even if it's just like a score or two, I think that's a difference. It's just not the type of football that they play. Like they're not looking to push the ball down the field every play.
Okay.
Which I think a Westlake and a Lake Travis and even a Westwood is in games, even the games that they're winning like that. So I think it's closer than people think, but I don't think that makes it a close game, if that makes sense. Like I could see Westwood.
It's going to be contested.
I could see Westwood. I could see Westwood scoring 3 touchdowns, I think. So maybe like
we got D1 quarterback.
35, 21, 42, 21 type thing.
Yeah.
I think, you said 40 what?
Like 35, 21, 42, 21, something like that.
Yeah, I think that's spot on. I
like and RJ always plays good against Vandergrift.
Yeah.
It's kind of a rivalry game it turned into, and he always plays really. And there's always like some weird circumstances with that game. I think last year, they played with 3 of 4 lights on, or maybe that was 2 years ago. It's just always something weird with that game. So I think RJ has a good game, and I think unfortunately a good game for RJ is like a lot of yards, a lot of scores, but some turnovers, and I think that helps Vandegrift out.
Yeah, I think RJ's game against Lake Travis early in the year really helped him out. So it was on a Thursday as well, so him facing the elite defense, top end defense in the state, who was 6'8", thank goodness. So he would have a good game, possibly against Vandegrift. But I think Zach's on. I think it's going to be in the 40s for sure, and 3 maybe Westwood gets a field goal in with that. So 24, 49, maybe in that range.
Snoop says 35-7. That's no
love from RJ.
No love for Mr.
love
Martinez
for
and that
RJ.
Westwood offense. Yeah, he also says,
I think RJ just improvises too much for Vandegrift.
And he's got such great escapability out of the pocket.
So you think he's gonna, just make plays?
Yeah,
I think
Just
Vandegrift is gonna
make
shut
plays.
down what he's trying to do, and I think he can just I think RJ is the type of quarterback, kind of like Ryder, where he can just make 14 points himself.
Yeah. Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely makes sense.
Like just watching what I mean. Granted, I think they're. I mean, obviously they're a better team, but just watching like a light switch just turn on for Ryder Hernandez in the second half of that game, and he just figured out how to beat Vandegrift. I think talent-wise, RJ Martinez and Ryder Hernandez are very similar. I think the pieces around him, Ryder Hernandez has a lot better. But I just think because of the similarities between the two in terms of like creativity and like one of y'all said, escapability and things like that, I think he can come up with some points.
So even if
More than 7.
So even if this game was one-sided score-wise, I think this game would still be entertaining to watch.
Yeah, I mean
right?
that game.
He's fun to watch.
That Lake Travis game in Westwood, it was 63-20. So I think they get to 20. I mean, I don't think Vandegrift's defense is, equal to Lake Travis. I think Lake Travis's defense is probably, adequate. I think they're similar, but I think RJ gets 20 points on the board at least.
All right.
Like I think you could. I think like him personally could have 14. So if they find a way to, if they like schematically can score one, that's 21 points.
And
It could be garbage time.
and I mean, if Nate Anderson, he could get loose. So you never know. But I mean, nobody expects an upset win for Westwood.
No.
Right.
I would be shook.
Right. Okay.
I would be shook on the sideline doing my interviews if they lost.
26-6A also tomorrow night. Austin High versus Hayes. It should be a pretty good game to watch.
That's gonna be a battle for a playoff spot. That's gonna be a very highly. I wish we could. Oh, you know what? Maybe we can watch that on another provider. I'm not gonna say who it is, but
13-5A Division II, Eastview versus Glenn. Both teams 3-3. Friday night games. You can check this out on reconathlete.com. Lockhart versus Medina Valley. Lockhart Lions the best 0-6 team in the state.
Is Medina Valley good?
No, they're
2-4.
This is going to be Lockhart's
chance to
solid win for the year. They're going to get a W.
The chance to win.
This is where they win.
All right,
Medina Valley's in their district.
Yeah, man, it's so spread out. It goes from Floresville to Lockhart all the way to Kerrville and then back around.
Dang.
Yeah.
Snoop says Austin versus Hayes is the game of the week in his opinion.
I thought that was going to be on KBVO, but then I had to go check my guide, and it said Vandegrift, and I was like,
I would
have rather have seen Hayes personally.
I think KBVO. I think it's easier for them to broadcast from the Palace.
Yeah, I'm sure
I
is.
think that has a lot to do with it.
I didn't know that. Hayes is also called the football team. They're not the
No,
Rebels
they're-
anymore.
They're going to be changing their name. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So that's what BJ was telling me.
I don't think they've said like Hayes football team. I think they.
Yeah, I think
They're
they're
still
gonna,
the
they're
They
gonna be
just
called the
haven't said.
Hawks.
Oh, they're not the. So
They're
are they
in the
using?
future,
Are they
they're
using
gonna
the
be
Rebels this
Hayes
year?
Hawks.
Then they're not using the Rebels.
I don't know. All I know is RPND.
Okay. Let's see. So reconathlete.com, Lockhart versus Medina Valley. Also, shout out to Lions Pride Sports Broadcasting. You can check it out there. 25-6A, Stony Point versus Round Rock, McNeil versus Cedar Ridge, and Vista Ridge versus Hutto. Any?
Good luck, Hutto. Good luck.
Really?
Stony Point is like letting me down this year, so I think that game might be ugly.
Yeah, it could be. 26-6A, you got Westlake versus Aikens, Bowie versus Lake Travis. Okay.
And there's only gonna be one game going on at the Horn. 2 broadcasts of one game on Friday night.
Bowie versus Lake Travis?
Yeah, because the Horn carries Lake Travis and they carry Bowie.
Oh, okay. 11-5A Division 1, Georgetown versus Anderson. We got Cedar Park versus Leander. Weiss versus Pflugerville. And then Hendrickson versus Manor. Manor, this is a big game for them. I mean, they're sitting at 1-3. Got to get that dub, huh?
It used to be a good rivalry when I was in high school. Hendrickson and Manor. I remember one year, I think it had like playoff implications, a game that they won on a hook and ladder.
Yeah, actually, you know what's funny about that? I called that game when we were on Fan Stand. That was like my first year sideline reporting. I still have the audio.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I still have it. It's
okay.
pretty wild.
That was like my junior year of high school.
That was when Dejay was a senior and Samaje was a sophomore. Yeah, I remember that game.
You were on the sideline?
I called it live on Fan Stand.
Yeah, you were on the sideline?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was on Maynard's sideline.
I remember they like stormed the field and like my friend Kingsley was the defensive end. He like threw that like hit the shit out of his helmet.
Kingsley, I was a bad boy.
Yeah,
I remember that. Yeah, that was a good team.
That was a good team,
dude.
Yeah, that team was.
Victor Iraconzi was on the other end.
Yeah,
he went to Oklahoma State.
Yeah, that was a.
That is why people have always talked like poorly about Coach Killian. Is just the talent that he's had come through that school to make like mediocre playoff runs.
Yeah. Fair enough. Let's see. Snoop says Hendrickson versus Maynard might be on Thursday. He's not sure.
It may be.
Maybe.
I was trying to do my best to kind of put these together.
No worries.
I was cross-checking like 3 or 4
all good
sites to kind of get it. But if it is on Thursday, I'll get it updated.
And then Wes says, when Zach was in high school 2 years ago? Nah, it's been 10 years now.
I graduated 2013.
Oh, 2013.
So
7 years.
Yeah.
Let's see. Emo says, how about Conley, Pflugerville?
We're not to that district yet. Come on, Emo.
You stay with us, brother. 12-5A Division 1 Layman.
Let's get there first. Sorry.
Snoop says it's Friday. Hendrickson versus Maynard.
Where? Thanks, you Snoop.
Thanks, Snoop. 12-5A Division 1 Layman versus Dripping Springs. Shout out to Lobos.
Thanks,
they got a couple windows.
House as us. We just yell.
Seguin versus Harlandale. BJ versus San Antonio Veterans Memorial.
BJ.
McCollum versus New Braunfels Canyon.
Peter Johnson.
Buda Johnson.
That Maynard Hendrickson game is already sold out.
Word?
I bet.
Yeah.
Wow.
This was yesterday.
I bet it is.
Well, they got that limited seating. I didn't think
At
about
Maynard.
that.
At Maynard, 7 o'clock.
Yeah. So any of these games you want to mention? 12-5A Division 1? Layman, Dripping Springs, Seguin versus Harlandale, Buda Johnson versus Veterans Memorial, or McCollum versus Canyon.
I mean, I know Buda Johnson, that Memorial game will be like, it'll be a fun game to watch if you can make it there, but I'm not driving to North San Antonio to do that.
What's Johnson's mascot?
Jaguars.
The Hogwires.
Is that like requirement? If you're going to be Johnson, you got to be the Jaguars.
Yeah, I think
maybe.
so. I think it's there's a somewhere.
Are they blue? Are they blue?
They're black and gold.
Somewhere in the
I was about to say.
somewhere in the Texas legislature is written.
I think this is random fact, but I think San Antonio Johnson's like undefeated.
They very well could be.
I think they're like not like state ranked, you know, like top 25. 6A schools.
Zach Stad says Pflugerville versus Weiss. Playoff implications.
Pflugerville Conley? Is it Pflugerville Conley?
Weiss. No, it's Pflugerville High. Weiss versus Pflugerville. Right? Yeah. That's what I got. 13-5A Division 2. Cedar Creek versus Bastrop. Eastview versus Glen. Rouse versus Brenham. Elgin versus Conley.
There you go, Emo.
There's your Conley. They're 0-6, bro.
Yeah, that's a rough one.
All of 14-5A Division 2 is on bye. That's Liberty Hill, Northeast, Marble Falls, McAllen, Crockett, Travis, and Navarro.
And
Liberty Hill's
the
my favorite
district
team.
standing for that district as well. That's 1 through, what was that, 7 or 8?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Liberty Hill's my favorite team.
Are they?
Yeah.
Besides Vandergrift?
Yeah, and Saint something. I forgot.
Michaels?
I have a shirt.
Okay.
The Hilltoppers. Which one's the Hilltoppers?
St. Mary's. That's Chris's alma mater.
No,
St.
no,
Edward's.
the high school.
St. Edwards.
Oh, St.
No,
Edward's, sorry.
maybe it's not the Hilltoppers. Snoop, help.
I don't know. 13-4A Division 1 LBJ versus Taylor, Fredericksburg versus Lampasas, and Canyon Lake versus Burnett. What up, Kalunga? He just says hi.
St.
And he's with
Andrews.
Steelers.
St. Andrew.
Cool.
St. Andrews. I thought
Shut
they're the Crusaders.
No, not anymore.
Oh, no. They're not the
St. Michael's
Crusaders. St. Michael's
Yeah,
Crusaders.
Highlanders.
Highlanders.
They changed it.
Yeah, and then they used to be something else, though. Because then they, like, merged with some other thing. And then we have a Saturday game, Del Valle versus San Marcos.
That's
I like the
homecoming.
Saturday games.
Yeah, I do too. That's at 2 p.m. So that's
Oh.
gonna be.
I don't like the Mondays, but I do like the Saturdays.
I bet it was pretty dope for them to play on Monday night though, or Monday afternoon or whatever.
Yeah.
But then they played on Saturday too, right?
Yeah, they had, well, because they had to kind of give them. I think there's a certain law or bylaw that they have to have like 5 days rest or 5 days whatever between games. 5 days between games.
Update: McAllen versus Marble Falls makeup game is Friday.
Okay, sweet.
Shout out Snoop. Thanks for giving us that.
Thanks, Snoop.
Thanks, Snoop.
Yeah, he's literally like 15 feet away.
Is the door open?
Nah, his door's closed, man. All right. Other topics as assigned. Antonio Brown is being mentored by Tony Robbins.
That's good. Good for him.
You know who Tony Robbins is?
No.
Really?
For real?
Like the famous like motivational speaker guy, the big T.
Isn't there like a Robinson that used to play for the Spurs?
Mm-hmm. The Admiral.
Yeah, him.
No.
He's tall like him. Not as tall, but Tony Robbins is like.
I thought that was
six-
refrigerator.
Yeah,
I thought that was
Tony Robbins is a
refrigerator
big
tall
Perry.
guy.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
I thought that was refrigerator Perry.
Yeah, refrigerator Perry.
What?
The fridge, bro.
You said tall guy.
Okay.
He's just picking tall people.
I know. Antonio Brown, he's living with Tom Brady apparently, right? Yeah, he's living he's living with Tom Brady, and Tom Brady introduced him to Tony Robbins to get his life,
But when you're
straight.
when you're like living like that, he's probably just like staying in the guest house, right? Like,
Oh yeah.
it's not like he's getting up and
They're like
Giselle's making pancakes
they're
and
like
he's sitting
bunk-
at the table next to
they're
Tom's
bunking,
son, right?
they're bunking together.
Yeah.
And
It ain't the hashtag no ads. It ain't the Frito Lay's commercial.
Good morning, Antonio.
Tom's shining his helmet in bed.
yeah.
But I don't know if anybody knew this. Speaking of like AB trying to get things right, but he spent some time over the summer getting mentored by Deion Sanders as well at his private home in I think here in Texas.
Private home.
Yeah, he has like this land and this big old pond, and they were all over Instagram like doing fishing and kind of just getting a little bit of helping AB maybe mature a little bit.
And then
He's over 30 now. It's time to grow up.
This is the
Yeah.
second time that he's tried living with Tom Brady.
Man, that one game with New England, him
Yeah.
and Tom got on the same page real quick.
Yeah. And I'd be remiss if I didn't other topics as a
what?
side. I'd be remiss
Nice word.
if I didn't mention the Green Bay Packers playing the San Francisco 49ers tomorrow night.
Tomorrow. I'm going to miss it.
I hope it doesn't get
Why?
canceled.
I'm going to be at Vandergrift.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Dang.
Duh, I already forgot.
How about trade talk with Green Bay not getting the deal
Yeah,
done with
they
Will
never
Fuller?
they never do. And it's hard to trade for somebody's one.
Dude, well, you were high on Will Fuller in the beginning of the year.
Right.
Are you
especially
disappointed?
in
I would have
fantasy
liked
talking.
it, but if
That deal
Were
should
you
have gotten
disappointed?
done.
I think it would have gotten done if DeAndre Hopkins was still there.
Okay, I think that's a
The
fair take.
asking price for Will Fuller becomes incrementally higher without DeAndre Hopkins.
Especially when they
Because
when the
you're
Houston
trading for the number
Texans
one.
have somebody who competently knows what they're doing running the team. Except Billy O'Brien over here giving away gold for a bucket of balls with DeAndre Hopkins and draft picks.
Because it's like fantasy trades. Like you're more willing to trade your number one receiver when your number two is just as good.
Right.
Their number two, who was even their number two? Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
Or Stills, maybe.
Yeah. So like it almost would have made. I think I even saw some like rumblings that the Packers should have gone after Stills instead of Fuller because you're paying so much less.
You still have a good speed, but you don't have the size. But I think it's a fair get. I
would have liked it, but it wouldn't have made sense for the Packers to give away what I'm sure that they were asking.
Well, there was a lot of rumors too with Green Bay kind of checking in to see if AB would be available, but I think AB. It came down to Green Bay and Tampa, and I think that connection with Tom last year and with New England, he was like, I'm going to get to go live in a warm climate when I'm used to living in a warm climate or go to Green Bay. I think I'll take Tampa.
I also saw that a lot of people wanted Green Bay, saying it made sense for them to try to go after J.J. Watt.
I think that's what the Texans said. Everybody's available except for Deshaun Watson and J.J. Watt and like one other player. But
especially if J.J. Watt doesn't want to be there.
They need a really good, solid defender. I think that's something that they're missing. A linebacker would have been the best get for them in Green Bay, but they didn't address it in the draft, and they couldn't get a deal done in free agency. So I don't know what
and I think the
GMG is doing up there. I don't know his name.
Just the for Packers fans, unfortunately about the J.J. Watt thing, you're having trouble there, Chris. J.J. Watt's just not a scheme fit.
I totally 100% agree, and I think I'm in the mindset of like Bill Belichick is like, I think JJ's damaged good. He's a great human. He did such great things for the city of Houston when the hurricane came through, but I think it's time to put him in the pasture.
He doesn't want to be there.
I agree. He may not want to be there, but at the same time, like he's to me, he's in that like later years of Dwight Freeney where he's going to be a specialist and he's going to be a third down specialist and he'll get you a sack or a batted ball. And then that's it. I don't think he can be a dominant player anymore.
I think where if he goes somewhere, he like reinvigorates his career. If he goes somewhere,
who would you think?
I don't know, but I'm like I don't think it even matters. Okay. I think if he goes somewhere that plays a 4-3, then I think he starts over. But when you're somewhere like for the longest time, you kind of knew that he didn't want to be there, but like he was too like thoroughbred American, like hardworking, like I'm gonna bust my butt no matter what, to be there. But it's like you can only do that for so long.
Very traditional, like I'm gonna go out with the team that brought me in, kind of thing.
Right.
I would love to see JJ. This is gonna sound crazy, but I would love to see JJ go play with his brother TJ and be that 3 technique, playing maybe right next to him or on the other side.
But I just
because I think if JJ gains some weight, because he can carry a lot of weight in that 6'5" frame. I think if he gained like 15, 20 pounds, I think he'd easily play a 3 technique and just gobble up a couple of blocks and let those rush edgers get there.
Edge rushers,
rush edgers, excuse me. Had a dyslexic moment.
I just think like you can only like push someone so far.
Hey, I get it.
And like
but I think that would be a comfortable fit for JJ and TJ.
I just think he has to go somewhere that's a 4-3. He has to play that defensive end position. Especially if you think of these like old edge rushers, rush edgers.
We're gonna make that a thing.
They're all
rush edgers.
Defensive ends. You know, if they were to like come out of retirement, if they were to get like that short contract, the Dwight Freeney's, the Terrell Suggs, it's like just to play defensive end and rush the ball and come right back out.
Yeah, he would be that third down specialist.
Well, you know what I keep thinking of is Jacksonville.
Okay,
I think he could go there and get his stats up and
no income, no state income, warm climate.
Calais Campbell did it for a long time.
He'll be an instant leader in the locker room. A lot of credibility on the defensive side.
Yeah, but don't you think he wants to be on a winning team?
He hasn't been on a winning team in 2 years.
Yeah, so why wouldn't you want to go to go to the Steelers?
But I think you like kind of like Calais Campbell, like you go to Jacksonville toward the end of your career where you're still somewhat productive, and ball out, make a Pro Bowl, and then your next step is your like just specialty. Like I'm only going to come in as strictly a pass on pass rush downs, and that's when he chases rings. Is like that part of his career.
Because
I still think he has like a productive side left.
BJ suggests Seattle to chase that ring.
I mean, Calais did just go to Baltimore,
and he got paid. Yeah, I think the spot before that he got paid.
Yeah, he went and got a check, and now he's trying to chase the ring.
Right.
I think JJ's been paid. I think it's time to go chase the ring.
Yeah.
Kansas City,
There you go.
I mean,
Kansas City makes sense. I think they run 4 linemen, right?
yeah.
All right, one more topic. Other topic as assigned. Wes assigned this to us. Cam Newton, is he done?
I'm not done with Cam yet.
No?
Not me. I personally, I think that
Would you take
Cam,
him in Dallas right now?
I have him in, yes, yeah. Over what's there? Yes, 100%. I think that's why I wanted them to go get Cam in free agency so he could have been the backup for Dak.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would have been great.
A $2 million backup, $1 million backup. I mean, come on, guys.
That could come in and perform.
And have the relief and be confident and competent to do it.
Yeah.
I know he's not probably, I mean.
He's not Dak.
He's not being Tom Brady in New England. I get it. He's having a hard time throwing the ball right now. I get that. But, I mean, he's still producing in fantasy. He didn't do it for the time he was out and the first week back after COVID. But I mean, he had 18 points last week. Mm-hmm. If he doesn't fumble the ball on that drive going in,
they win.
They win.
Yeah.
I think it would take a little bit to get him in this mindset, but I think he would be a really, really good quarterback to have someone like a hot ticket draft, like young guy under him. I think he would be really, really good in that role, in the like grooming somebody role. Like if almost like if you're the Cowboys and you can draft.
Thank you for saying I was about to go there.
If you can draft Justin Fields, I would almost like do everything I could to get Cam Newton on the roster as well.
Buy Dak, sign Cam,
send Dak to New England.
Cam 2 years, $20 million.
Let him play for one. Like name him the starter. Let him groom Justin Fields. I think Cam would be so like.
Bill would take Dak, probably. I would think
that Bill would take Dak.
And
they always talked highly of Dak.
And they'd probably win a Super Bowl too.
Yeah, they would. They probably would. I mean, thank you. That I don't know how we were on the same.
I think even the other kid, even the North Dakota State kid, like if you could get Cam with one of those two guys, I think it makes leaps and bounds for that player.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
Wow. That's
an odd.
This is 2020. We got Zach and Paul in the same wavelengths here.
Wow.
Shout out Emo. I don't know why you're bringing up Mark Sanchez.
Flipper. Dude,
does he have a podcast?
Dude, you know what's funny is I told Emo, I was like, dude, you talk so passionately and you talk so matter of fact about the topics in sports. I'm like, why don't you have a show?
No, I'm talking about Mark Sanchez.
Oh, I don't know. But yeah, Emo, yeah, you need to go find a show. Like, no disrespect.
I've told him to come in.
Yeah.
No, he was here one time.
I told him too.
He's got a little nervous. He wasn't ready. It's not, it's not.
Everybody was nervous.
Everybody gets nervous, man. You know, I think the only person that probably wouldn't be nervous.
I think BJ gets nervous.
BJ.
I think I'm convinced that his eyes are closed when he talks on the phone. I'm like 100%. Like just listening to the way he talks, I can just picture him like with his eyes closed talking.
Yeah, it's different. It's definitely different when you're on the phone when you're on the mic.
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
Definitely different.
Y'all think Mark Sanchez is like probably a cool guy or no?
Like not douchey?
Like you think he'd be like cool to kick it with, or do you think he'd be like douchey?
No, I think
he's
because he teeters on. He could be either one.
Okay, so like if you were to buy Mark Sanchez a beer, would he buy you a beer back?
Fuck no.
You don't think so?
Nope.
You buy a round of shots.
Nah.
You're with it's me, Zach, and then Mark Sanchez.
Yeah.
I buy a round.
He buys around.
He buys around. Does Mark Sanchez buy the round?
He's from California.
If you win a contest, that's like if you win this, you get to watch the Super Bowl with, Mark Sanchez. Is it a fun time?
I don't know, maybe.
We got stuff flowing. We got
like just run of the mill Super Bowl party, but Mark Sanchez is there.
I think he'd be okay.
I think he'd kick it. Yeah,
I think he has a podcast. I want to find it. I want to see what
podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, I bet he would be
That'd
fun
be good.
if he was like in a comfortable environment.
Yeah.
Like if he was like nobody gave a shit who he was, nobody would make fun of him about the butt fumble. I think he'd be cool.
Wes says Chris Sanchez is better than Mark Sanchez.
Dude, I would switch about for Mark Sanchez.
Would you?
Even to let him host, like if he like had no hosting experience, like I would let him host.
He's been on TV.
To like click the buttons and everything, like I would let him figure it out. Just to have Mark Sanchez, like
he knows what he's doing.
I think it'd be cool.
He wouldn't know how to run that. He'd be like, "What's that?"
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
no, he would not.
Yeah. Let's see. BJ said he was on TV once.
Awesome.
What?
Mark Sanchez needs to cover college football.
I think he does.
Yeah, he does.
Really?
Doesn't
I think sometimes he's on that Fox morning football show. Sometimes.
he? Big. What's it called?
Big, I don't know.
Big Noon.
Yeah, Big Noon Saturday.
Urban Meyer's pregame football show. That's what it's called.
The Nooner.
He kind of looks like that Georgia dude on game day, the linebacker.
David Pollack.
Yeah, I think they kind of look alike.
I think that's the makeup. They're just even in his complexion.
Possibly.
Shout out Mark Sanchez.
What?
I don't know how that came up.
You think
Emo? Because emo.
Oh,
Because the emo flipper brings up Mark Sanchez.
But I don't know. It's AFC connection, AFC East connection.
He says
What'd he say?
Mark Sanchez is better than a lot of quarterbacks. He
Then
was
go
just
pick him up in free
he
agency.
just never had a good team.
All right, Flipper. They went to an AFC conference championship.
Oh man, I love emo.
Flipper.
I love him.
Flipper.
Zach, shout outs.
Yeah.
Paul, shout outs.
Shout out God, my family. Shout out to King Kalunga. Get well, brother.
I want to shout out to Christ Market, of course, Texas Point Outdoors, everybody that's on our watch party, Emo, BJ, Wes, Paul Partita. Shout out to Kalunga. Get well, brother. Of course, the GOAT, Snoop Daniel. See Steven, Tom, Zach's dad. Shout out to everybody. I want to shout out to God, my parents, and shout out to Garrett Gilbert and Cooper Rush.
Good luck.
Make sure you watch film and learn that playbook.
Make sure you put your flap jacket on, too.
All right, Paul, do your thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, if y'all are enjoying the if you're enjoying the podcast, like, subscribe, comment down below, hit the bell on YouTube. We'll let you know we upload. We out.